Hi guys, Clueless Crafts here, and today I'll be showing you how to make some realistic miniature food. So let's get started. I'll be starting off with the pizza, so grab some clay that's dough colored and roll it out into an even circle. I'm then using a rounded tool to make an indent in the middle to make it easier to define the crust. Once it's smoothed out, I'm going around the entire edge and curling it over a bit, basically until it's a very shallow bowl. Then it's time for the sauce. I'm using a bright red clay and gently pulling it apart, keeping it in a general circular shape, but giving the edge some wave to it. Then lightly placing it on the pizza. For our cheese, I'm using a light yellow and using the same method as I did for the sauce. The only difference for the cheese is that once I have the shape I want, I'm ripping off tiny bits of clay around the circumference to give it a more cheesy look. I'm placing it on top of the sauce, making sure not to overlap it entirely. Now let's introduce some toppings to this pizza. I'm starting with green clay for some green peppers. Rolling it out into a thin log, then cutting into smaller pieces and curling slightly. Next topping will be pepperoni. Super easy to make, just roll out into small balls and flatten. I mixed red and brown to get this pepperoni color. The final topping will be mushrooms. For this I'm using white and a light brown clay. First I'm rolling a small ball of white and flattening it against my roller. Then I cut out 2 triangle shapes on either side and a mushroom is born. Now with some brown clay, I'm rolling it into a cone so that I can cut off a tiny piece of the end to place on either side of the mushroom stem. And just like that, we are ready to create our pizza. I started out just placing the pepperoni, but I decided to flatten them out to make them look a little better. I also figured I should probably place all the pepperoni first since the other toppings can go over them. So you'll see some rearranging going on, but in the end we have ourselves a mini clay pizza ready for the oven. Care for a slice? Moving on to our next meal, let's go ahead and make ourselves a burger. Starting with the bun, I'm taking 2 balls of clay, the smaller one being the bottom half, and flattening as even as possible against the butt end of my roller. Then taking the bigger ball of clay and pressing against the table and pushing down the edges, creating a dome shape for the top half of the bun. Let's grab a patty for that bun. Using some dark brown clay and flattening it with my roller, you want to match the size of the patty to the bun. Now for the toppings, gotta have some onion. So just rolling out some white clay real thin and cutting into several pieces. These will be placed along the edges of the bottom bun. And while it looks hideous now, the wonderful thing about burgers is you can just cover it up. There, they'll never know. You like cheese on burgers? I hope so, because this burger is getting some. I'm using yellow clay with a bit of orange mixed in, and flattening, then roughly cutting it into a square shape. Doesn't need to be perfect because we want it to look like the cheese is melted. And don't forget to lay the corners down for the full effect. Lettuce is next, using a nice light green color and stretching it real thin. And for a finishing touch, putting a slight fold in the center. Makes it look more interesting. Then last but not least, tomatoes. These are definitely the easiest to make, as all I have to do is flatten them with my roller and place them on the burger. Finally, time for the top bun, and our burger is looking delicious. And here it is after baking. Alright, let's keep going with some fried chicken. I'm taking a ball of brown clay and rolling out one end into a tail of sorts. Then while holding on to the base, I'm then using a silicone tool to make an indent on the end to make it appear more bone-like. With the same tool, I'm also rolling out the middle and to define the shape a bit more. Now, time for a toothbrush. Dab all over the clay to give it a rough texture that hopefully resembles fried breading. Then once you're satisfied with it, make as many more as you desire. You know what goes good with fried chicken? French fries. With some yellow clay, I'm rolling it into a flat sheet that I'm cutting into a rectangle. Using a pointy silicone tool, I'm drawing lines to mimic the texture of crinkle cut fries. Now enjoy this mini montage of me cutting out fries. Just adding some texture to the underside of these fries, and can't forget the ketchup. Now it's plating time. This is not the final plating arrangement that I chose, as I'm sure you can tell by the thumbnail. But I thought I'd show you another variation that you could do. Guess what? It's hot dog o'clock. Starting off, I'm making a bun by rolling out a ball into a thick log, then taking my blade and slicing it right down the middle. Not all the way through though. Once it's cut, you can pinch down each side to allow more wiggle room for your dog. Speaking of, I'm grabbing some brown clay mixed with pink to get that classic hot dog color and rolling it out until it's slightly longer than the bun. Place the wiener in the bun and select your desired toppings. I'm keeping mine classic with ketchup and mustard. For that, I'm just rolling out long, thin logs of red and yellow and carefully placing them in a squiggle shape along the top. And let's add another hot dog for good luck, shall we? Why not? Well, that's all the mini food I have for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you have other foods you'd like me to make, let me know. But otherwise, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all later. Bye!